Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Steven, aka the Poké Technician, back here bringing you another video today. And today I'm going to be going over DLC, which is the Draft League Challenge, Season 3.5 Draft. We've been in the playoffs the last 3 seasons actually. We went to finals. Then last season we went to semis, I believe, or maybe it was just quarters. Did we win our way into semis? I'm trying to remember who I played first round. Oh, it was Vincent. Yeah, no, we didn't make our way out of the quarters, I believe. So, anyhow, the opponent that we played against did end up going to the finals. So, good on him. Anyhow, this season we are playing in a National Dex format. So, many Pokemon allowed. Unfortunately, no Z moves. Not unfortunately, I think that's a pretty fair rule. No Z moves. Also, what else? We do have Megas, of course. So basically, the way the draft structure was formatted was that we got one pick in every tier, which are tiers 1 through 5, except for in tier 3, where we got 2 free picks. So those were our free picks. 1 in tier 1, 1 in tier 2, 2 in tier 3, 1 in tier 4, and 1 in tier 5. We were allowed to spend points on a Mega. Or no, actually, the Megas were free too. So you got a free Mega slot. However, if you chose a Mega that was lower than tier 1, you could get additional points to spend towards your regular draft. So that would allow you to pick additional tier 1, tier 2 picks when maybe normally you wouldn't be able to do so. So a very good strategy in terms of trying to stack your team a bit in your favor. However, here, what we decided to go with was, my original plan was to snag Mega Altaria tier round one. But in the end, Matthew Cha, Goose, you all know Goose, he's been on my channel about 1 billion times. He picked Mega Altaria 1 pick before me. So I went with Mega Charizard. Another good setup threat, another great dragon. Fire, dragon type, once it Mega evolves, flying, fire type, pre-Mega evolution, which can come in handy for opponents who want to use ground type moves on you, as you can choose when to Mega Evolve in this league. And you'll see that probably does come into play later in the season. I'm recording this after the season's already started. In fact, I'm a couple games in, so you'll see I do have some vision on what's going on with the team and where the team is going to go in the future. But Mega Charizard X, really one of the premier Megas in the Draft League, because right up there, I think Mega Lopunny is pretty much the de facto first pick, no matter what. There's Mega Diancie, which is amazing. There's Mega Charizard X. Some other really great Megas, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diminish the value of like Mega Gallade, who's amazing, and Mega Medicham as well. Great fighting type Megas. However, Mega Charizard X has some amazing setup capabilities. The only thing I've found so far that really holds it back is its speed tier. But that can be overcome by some other methodologies. So as we went into tier 1, my plan was to pick Tapu Fini. However, Tapu Fini was selected a few picks earlier, so I decided to go Serperior. Serperior is great because it gives us a great speed tier at 113 base speed. Obviously gets Contrary and some other things. If you want to go with Overgrow, it does get Swords Dance, Calm Mind, all kinds of amazing support moves and setup moves. The cool thing for this mon is Glare, considering later on you can see up top that I'm going to decide to select Togekiss. Glare allows me to paralyze things that Togekiss might not be able to with its Thunder Wave. Additionally, Leaf Storm will be able to boost my special attack if I go with a Contrary set. It also gets Coil, it gets Defog, an amazing Defogger, Aromatherapy, so it really has some amazing support moves. Even here you see Knockoff, Leaf Blade if you decide to go with an Overgrow Swords Dance set. It gets dual screens, it gets so much, guys. I thought this was really a great pick. Leech Seed, Synthesis, you set up a sub, you know, and then you start hitting Leaf Storms. That's really how Serperior works in general, but in Draft League it can do a lot of other things, so I wanted to have that in the back of my opponent's mind, although we are in majors, guys. We've decided to separate into majors and minor leagues. And I am playing against the other major opponents, which include people like Ray, aka Get That Guap, aka amazing Gen 6 player and Natdex player, and he's just really good, and he drafted a really good team, which is going to benefit him in week 1 against my team. But anyhow, I'm looking to reach for the long game, make sure I have good team synergy, and not worry just about week 1, because it is a long season, and against all these great opponents, I think something like a slightly over 500 record could make the playoffs. So that's really my main aim, is to not get relegated down into minors, because that would be really awful. But anyhow, next up, I believe that I actually went with Togekiss with my first tier 2 pick. Togekiss in tier 2 is amazing. The speed tier is at 80, so with these other 2 mons it meshes really well. We're remaining at the high end of the speed tiers. It gets Serene Grace, which really helps me in terms of being able to glare opponents and Serene Grace air slash them into oblivion. Of course, it can do a bajillion other things like Defog, Heal Bell, Roost, Wish, Fire Blast, Flamethrower. I think it gets Mystical Fire. Maybe I'm wrong there. Grass Knot for sure. Extra Sentry, Psychic. A lot of really, really good coverage coming off this mon. Dazzling Gleam, of course. Moonblast. Moonblast? Does get Moonblast, I'm pretty sure. No. Okay, Dazzling Gleam, my bad. No Moonblast. Anyhow. Lots of other really great things it can do, too. I mean, I don't want to reveal too much of, obviously, like Substitute. Trick is really great. Yawn can be really annoying for opponents. So, yeah, a lot of good things you can do with Togekiss. The main ability probably going to be Serene Grace. Super Luck might come in handy. Hustle almost never going to get used unless I'm memeing. So maybe if the end of the season comes and I'm in a playoff position, we could see a Hustle Togekiss. Next up, we are going to be bringing, just wanted to make sure that was still recording, sorry guys. I think we did buy Mamoswine, or did we buy Mamoswine? No, I don't think we did. I think we went Bronzong next almost. I'm trying to remember the exact draft order, because like I said, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since we actually drafted, so. Bronzong is a really great mon. This was the first Stealth Rocker I brought onto the team, I believe. It also gets Trick Room, it gets some really great setup moves and Iron Defense, Calm Mind, it can Charge Beam, gets amazing coverage, just so much good physical and special coverage, as its offenses are split, but both reasonably, so you could use either offense, technically. Attack is a little bit better, but it's not like either is a really, really high threshold, so this mon is known for its defense, its ability to levitate and take on ground-type attackers, heat-proof, and take on more fire-type special attackers. Heavy Metal, not very useful, but it can trick. I mean, it can just do so many things, guys. Again, I don't want to reveal all of its strategies, but I mean, you know, Trick, Toxic, Earthquake, Iron Head, Gyro Ball, Extra Sensory, Psychic, Zen Headbutt. I mean, it even gets Signal Beam. You can run hidden Power with it in this generation. You can run Secret Power, or is it no, Natural Gift. If you want to run a Funky Berry and go with Natural Gift, that's good because you can get type coverage with its slightly better physical attack. So EQ, Body Press. I mean, this mon can do so many things, guys. I believe it does get Reflect and Light Screen as well. Reflect, yep, there it is. Light Screen. So you could go with a Light Clay set if you really wanted to do something like that. Next up, however, I decided to spend some points and grab Mamoswine. So Mamoswine is a vicious attacker. I've noticed in OU, or I'm sorry, in the draft league, that it does have some shortcomings, mostly being its speed tier. You can run a Choice Scarf set. You can run Assault Vest, which is really, really good with this mon, actually. A lot of times it's Focus Sash. You can go Rocks, Knockoff, EQ, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard for the Dragon types, and often Flying types or Ground types that you want to attack with your priority. This Mon has an insane attack stat of 130, of course. Really good HP stat at 110 as well, so it can survive some hits, but it isn't actually the most bulky Mon with its defense and special defense. It does get the thick fat ability, which makes its fire and fire weakness and ice neutrality a bit negated, but yeah, mostly you're going to see it run thick fat, maybe Oblivious. Oblivious could be nice in certain situations. However, yeah, it just does damage. So this Mon you're going to want to see having a large amount of HP investment, a large amount of attack investment, whatever speed investment it needs to outspeed the certain speed tier that you have to conquer with it, and just go out opponents. So next up, I think we will look at Heliolis, which is the last of the first 6 that we picked. Heliolisk is another Glairmon, so it can paralyze anything, along with Superior. And as you can see with Togekiss air slashing things, that's going to be a really big annoyance to opponents. Now Heliolisk is frail. Its defense isn't great. Its special defense is okay. HP meh. Speed and special attack is where this thing really comes into handy, so you can run like Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Focus Sash. I've done Expert Bell, I've done Assault Vest to take hits from things like Volcarona before, which it's normally weak to with the Dry Skin ability, but mainly this thing is going to want to, on this team, especially glare opponents, just be a nuisance to opponents with a little bit of chip damage with its Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hyper Voice, things like Surf, Grass Knot, Dark Pulse that Heliolisk does really well. You could run HP, but I mean, its special attack is really good. It's just not enough to OHKO a lot of opponents, so we're going to want to keep that in mind as we come up opponents. Like in week 1, I mentioned Ray, who has Spectrier, which is a really scary set of opponent, with Mudshot and Dark Pulse that can both hit the Heliolisk, so we're going to have to come up with something to try and counter that. But anyhow, that is the first 6 we decided to choose, and here you can see our next 5. As we were spending our points as wisely as possible, we did use exactly 400 of our points as we picked a Tier 1 Mega, which allowed us to not gain any additional points. Our first Tier 4 pick was Drapion. So I needed a Dark type. I really wanted a Poison type too because Fairy types were kind of menacing against my team. Drapion does that. It does have a neutrality to the Fairy type, which is unfortunate because it's a dual Dark type along with its Poison. However, it does have Toxic Spikes, which I really wanted. It gets some really great setup moves, and it can double dance with Agility and Swords Dance. You can run some really cool berries on it, like Landsat. Try and optimize its offensive output or its critical hit ratio so that you can use the Sniper ability, which is a really cool ability that Drapion gets. Sniper increases the damage of critical hits. So, is Landsat? Yeah, so Landsat gives you Focus Energy, which is basically like an increased critical hit ratio. And Drapion also gets the moves Night Slash. Night Slash, which has a high critical hit ratio, among other moves, which would just be really nice to have a Focus Energy with, because it really does improve your critical hit chances. And that's just going to make you deal so much damage. The 90 base attack, you're going to want to go with like Swords Dance or something like this normally. So, or if you want to run something weird like a Taunt, Toxic Spikes, Knockoff, maybe like a Poison Fang just to get general Toxics off on opponents, it really doesn't hurt. Drapion's a really good mon, especially when you're trying to avoid Psychic type damage, which my team is not great against, so something to consider. Next up, I did get Blastoise out of Tier 2. I was able to get, I think, 2 Tier 2s, a Tier 3, and a Tier 4 pick with the amount of points I was allotted. So Blastoise, in addition to Mamoswine, was what I spent my points on in Tier 2. Blastoise allows me to have a decently reliable Rapid Spinner. It can also do... Blastoise is so multifaceted, that's the amazing thing. And now that it gets Shell Smash, you can use it with its attack or special attack. They're both very comparable. It gets things like Flip Turn now, so you can Flip Turn out if you really want to. Toxic, Yawn, if you're going more of the tech route. Fake Out, of course, but it also gets, you know, Aura Sphere, Flash Cannon, Hydro Pump, Surf, Scald, trying to think. I said Aura Sphere. Oh, Dark Pulse. Yep, Dark Pulse is amazing as well. Haze, which is really nice for a team like this. Can run Refresh. Refresh is kind of an interesting move for this Mon, actually. There's a lot that this Mon can do. As you can see, its moveset is pretty vast. Roar is really nice in certain situations. I said Toxic already. Yeah, Brine. Dragon Tail, of course. It gets Reflect. There's no limit to what this Mon can do. You could literally run it as like a dual screen, Light Clay, Flip Turn, switch out if you have the right speed tier against an opponent. Don't underestimate what Blastoise can do, because Blastoise can be very supportive, or it can also bring the offense if you decide to go with a Shell Smash variant. So, next up we have Golbat. Golbat, I'm just gonna throw in the Eviolite because Golbat will literally always carry the Eviolite. Inner Focus for Fake Out Tech, which I probably should have brought against Neil Patel in week 2, which is the farthest we've progressed so far in the DLC. Spoiler alert, but also gets Infiltrator, which is really nice if you do believe that your opponent is going to set up a substitute against you or something like that. Everyone should know what Golbat does. It also has Haze. It can Roost. It can Defog. It can also Poison Fang, which is such a cool move that people underestimate. U-Turn, of course, is really nice momentum. If you wanted to go Nasty Plot, this version does get Nasty Plot also with Heat Wave, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb. Yeah, all kinds of really good attacking moves. You probably won't see that so much with Golbat. I would see more of like a supportive set, defog set. Oh, also gets Super Fang, which is a really nice move. That cuts the opponent's remaining HP down by 50%, so very much a supportive Mon. What I wanted to get here was Gligar. Unfortunately, Gligar got taken by Matt Harris in the New Jersey Rotom, so we had to settle for Golbat. Next up, I went for my Tier 3 pick. I needed a Psychic type. Didn't really need a normal type, but Meloetta really fit the mold as it can go fighting, which is another type that I don't have. And it gets a really, really good moveset, guys. Look at this stuff. I mean, obviously the Relic Song is something that you want to use to try and convert yourself into a faster fighting type, but you're still weak to fighting yourself. My team has a really bad weakness to fighting, so this thing gets Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, Psyshock. It gets a whole bunch of cool stuff like Grass Knot, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt, of course. There's other really important things that I wanted to show off with this Mon, but Gravity is interesting. Like, see down here, the hidden powers, of course, are super important. It gets Recycle, which Recycle could be utilized in a certain way. I don't want to reveal that in case anyone decides to pick up this Mon, as I have now dropped it, unfortunately, guys. But this is the Mon I drafted. It's really cool. It's another Serene Grace Mon, which I thought could come in handy, and I thought it was just kind of kitsch. Knock Off, another cool move, of course. Yeah, oh, Calm Line, if you want to set up on your opponent, so just a really cool Mon there. And then Leavanny, I wanted some web support if I decided not to bring Superior. If I wanted to go a little bit slower with things like Mamoswine and my Togekiss, this Mon could implant the webs on the opponent's team. It has a really good attack stat. It has a really good move pool as well. It gets Heal Bell and like Synthesis if you wanted to run Synth. Other cool thing, it gets Iron Defense, it gets Calm Mind, so you could dual dance it that way with a decent speed stat. Not really great at 92, but it's the year I'm born, so can't complain too much. Agility, obviously, to increase its speed. If you want to do that, you could do that. Like, a little bit weird. What's Agility's PP? 48 agility, really great PP. Iron defense, decent PP. Calm mind, really good PP as well. And synthesis, not good PP. So yeah, you wouldn't want to run just like an entirely support stall set with this, which is what I was just looking at. But it gets reflect. I mean, it just gets everything. It gets swords dance too, I believe. Yeah, it does get swords dance. It has a really good attack stat. Knockoff, Leaf Blade, like I said, Iron Defense. If you wanted to protect yourself in a certain way, its stat spread allows you to do that. The main problem with this mon is that it has flying and fire quad weakness, so that's a little bit problematic, but if you run the right set with this mon, it can work around that. So I think this team is really good. Guardian Arcanine is looking over the draft league in a council position. He's not playing, but just watching over, and he put out the initial rankings in terms of power rankings, and I got the 3rd place power ranking. Yeah, I got the 3rd place power ranking under Matt Harris and Neil Patel. Both who are amazing opponents, both who I play in the first 5 weeks of my season. So week 1 I have to play Ray, who is just an absolute nightmare for my team. Mega Charizard is kind of the best check I have, and he has Quagsire, so I'm going to have to bring the superior. Anyhow, that's a theory for another day, but hopefully you've enjoyed my team analysis. There's some movements to be done. The team's not perfect. Speed tiers are a little slow in certain places and a little equal in certain places, but I do think that if I can make the playoffs, there's a possibility that I can pull through based on my use of kind of ulterior sets that people don't often see. This is a really high talent league right now, so I think you're going to see a lot of normative sets, but at the same time I want to be able to dispel those sets, counteract them with maybe things people haven't thought of. Against Ray, it's going to be a little more conventional, but I know week 2 versus Neil, who is the 2-time reigning champion, I'm going to have to bring some real heat. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this analysis, and I will catch you next time. Peace out. Poke Technician coming at you at week 1 with Seattle Marinas. Seattle Marinas.